Can you please state your name and date of birth?
So everyone wants to know my name. I think they know a lot of it, but I meet a lot of people on a daily basis. And even though they know my image, they don't know my name. The name that I ended up with because my mother didn't want me to be called a junior. So because I'm basically the same name as my father, is Harry. So I'm Harry Perry. Well, it took me a long time to live in Venice, but I used to come hitchhike into Hollywood. That was one of my songs. I made one of my first vinyl records because I would hitchhike back and forth from Laurel Canyon to Venice. But the thing about Venice, people always come to the beach, and the air was better than on Hollywood Boulevard. Hollywood Boulevard, those buses spewed out black smoke and you were breathing it all day. This kid made me come to the beach when we were hanging out at the Rainbow. And it was just amazing to me that there were so many people just like walking in the streets at the beach. It was like a realization. So it was in April of '74 that I really transformed my energy from downtown Hollywood to hanging out in Venice Beach. I remember one of the main musicians that I saw who had just been here since 1945 was Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill played blues, and I guess he was part of the president's Secret Service, but retired. And as time went on, I remember that he was blind, but there used to be a place called the Card House, right now where the basketball court is, at 18th Street. And everyone would get together, the old black men and some white men, and play poker. Or I didn't play cards with them, so I'm not exactly sure what games they were playing. But one thing I did notice was Uncle Bill would go there and play the blues. And so he was one of the first musicians that was consistently playing at Venice Beach. So he was one of my inspirations for playing at Venice Beach often. In order to be an artist, look, I can call up and get a booking. If I'm not going to travel from city to city, which is like sort of difficult, then what do I do? You call up, you're going to get 45 minutes 30 days from now? How do you live that way? There's no way to live that way. But the beach is here year-round, and the weather here is, you can actually exist as a musician year-round at Venice Beach. There are lots of different aspects to me. I put this on not to play it, but my first battery pack, there was a guy who saw me playing, and I used to have a backpack, and the pig nose had like 6 rechargeable batteries that you could put in, or 6 like AA cells. That's what would take it to, but they only lasted for like an hour, and then they would be dead. So then I started using rechargeable cells. So I had socks for the charged cells, and the already used cells I just let float in the backpack, in the back rack. I used to shuffle this stuff all day long. And Mr. G, I can't remember his name, he owned G&M Power Products, saw me going through this and took me in his Rolls Royce up to Hollywood to meet Fred, who was the engineer, and engineered for me the first power pack with NiCad batteries. And that's what gave me like this whole new perspective where I could just play music for days and not worry about battery power. It was like becoming a Superman. Roller skates started during the roller revolution in 1976. That was when there were so many people putting on skates. Breeze Avenue wasn't a building, it was a parking lot. And they had like benches, and companies would come down and rent skates there. There were so many people skating that the city, right now it's cement, it used to be black asphalt. They had a line, this is bureaucrats for you, they had a line going down that black asphalt where you literally, the police are trying to enforce, you have to skate on one side and walk on the other. I used to just laugh at that because they always make laws that are completely unenforceable. And that's when I really had the realization that stuff was political and had nothing to do with anything that made sense in reality. I used to start at Lifeguard Station 26 and walk almost to the pier and back. And that process sometimes would take me just forever. And suddenly with skates on, I had this whole brand new experience where I could just roll and just meet so many people and engage with so many different areas along the oceanfront walk quickly. It was just so amazing. And it was just like floating on a conveyor belt to play guitar and play music and stop and sing to a person or a group of people and just like have this moving, liquid experience all the time. I felt like just part of it, part of the whole, social situation with skates on. It was something that I wanted to do. Usually what people discuss with me now, because I've been there for so long, is I'm not telling them a story. A lot of times I end up not playing very much. They tell me what their experience of Venice was, how they moved here, that they remember me, and that they want a picture with me or because their son died in Iraq, or all kinds of stories. They tell me their story, and they want pictures of me now. And a lot of times they'll show me pictures of me with them 30 years ago. We're talking like 50 years of time, That's a lot of time. What have you done for 50 years? I've always been a street performer because I've done huge movies and played myself. Or sometimes I'll play a bit part where I have 2 words. But that was always over. That came to an end. I've toured with bands. Those things come to an end. The bands would break up. Someone would die in the band. Manager would leave, take all the money. But the boardwalk was still here. Restaurants, I had friends that worked at restaurants. Those restaurants don't even exist anymore. The boardwalk is still here. People come to the beach, winter, summer, holidays. The beach is still here. Now that is the ultimate job security. I can make music and spread it around and do dances and performances and collect money and live and exist. And I don't have to ask permission to do it. Well, that is amazing. Right there. That's what Venice says. You can be an artist. And you don't have to ask permission to be an artist.